Good evening, everyone. My name is Shaylinda Bernard, and we're getting ready to start our special presentations. So I'm going to start tonight's special presentation tonight to celebrate an essential cornerstone of our community, our parks and recreation. Parks and recreation programs, yay. Thank you. Parks and recreation programs are vital for our community's well-being and economic prosperity. They enhance property values, expand our tax base, boost tourism, attract businesses, and contribute to lower crime rates. These spaces are more than just places for leisure. They are fundamental to our physical and mental health. They foster a sense of belonging and offer crucial opportunities for connection and enrichment. Tonight, we are honored to welcome Jerry Bubnick, our Parks and Community Services Director, and his team, whose leadership has greatly enriched our city's parks, recreation initiatives. Jeremy and our Parks and Recreation team, can you guys please come forward? I thought we had a full house. Hi, hi, hi. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to read the proclamation that we are presenting tonight on behalf of the city. Whereas parks and recreation are sanctuaries that promote mental health, increase cognitive performance, and alleviate conditions such as depression and attention deficit disorders, time spent in nature within our parks has a profound impact on our overall well-being, offering moments of solace and rejuvenation. Parks and recreation play a pivotal role in encouraging active lifestyles by providing spaces for sports, hiking trails, and a variety of activities that promote physical fitness and well-being for all individuals of all ages. Programs facilitated by Parks and Recreation such as out-of-school activities, youth sports leagues, and environmental education initiatives are instrumental in the growth and development of our youth, nurturing their talents, and fostering lifelong appreciation for our natural surroundings. July has been designated as Parks and Recreation Month by the U.S. House of Representatives, underscoring the nationwide recognition of the immense benefits that Parks and Recreation brings to our communities. Therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and the City Council of Moreno Valley that we proclaim July 2024 as Park and Recreation Month, Where You Belong. We recognizing and celebrating the invaluable contributions of parks and recreation to the well-being and vitality of our community. Jeremy, would you like to say a few words?
Of course. Anytime I'm allowed to speak about Parks and Recreation, I will. So, first of all, I want to thank you, the Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members, for your continued support of the Parks and Community Services Department and recognizing Parks and Recreation as a vital service for the community. Whenever I get an opportunity to speak, I always start by saying, my name's Jeremy Bubnick, and it's my honor to serve as a Parks and Recreation, or Parks and Community Services Director, for the City of Moreno Valley. And I say that because it is truly an honor for me to be able to serve the community that I live in. And it's also an honor because I get to work with and lead such a great staff. We have the best Parks and Community Services team in Southern California. I'll say Southern because I don't know Northern California, so I don't want to lie, but I'm sure they're pretty good if they were in Northern California as well. These professionals have a passion for what they do, and they dedicate their lives to helping others have fun. I've been in this business for nearly 30 years, and in this group behind me, some of them you see, are the best of the best, and they inspire me on a daily basis. The theme of this year's Parks and Recreation Month is Where You Belong. Help us celebrate July as Parks and Recreation Month by visiting one of our 35 parks, taking a walk on one of our trails, attending a free concert or movie, taking a class, visiting the senior center, learning to swim, visiting one of our 3 libraries, attending a summer camp, cooling off at one of our splash pads, or just reconnecting. Moreno Valley Parks and Community Services is where you belong. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Carlos again. No, Jeremy.
Joe, the little step. There we go. All right, and Mayor, if you can probably stand right next to her on the second step. Second step. And right in. There we go. All right. All right, and 1, 2, and 3. Do one more for safety. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. One more big round of applause for Parks and Recreation, please. And on that note, our second special presentation for tonight is perfect for the segue because they go hand in hand. And this one wouldn't be possible if it weren't for our parks and all the services that are provided by City Hall here in Moreno Valley. My name is Ulysses Cabrera, the mayor here in Moreno Valley. And for our second presentation this evening, very, very proud to present a proclamation also recognizing the Moreno Valley Sports Club and their commitment to enhancing our city's recreational opportunities. Moreno Valley Sports Club, led by Al Masuk, has been a part of our community since 2018, known for organizing countless sports events that bring together residents of all ages across Moreno Valley, Paris, and the entire Inland Empire. They've earned recognition with the Southern California Bengali community and beyond, attracting participants statewide to their tournaments, some of which we now have here in Moreno Valley. Actually right out of our Conference and Recreation Center, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more in just a second when I call them up, because they have led this effort. They have led the effort to expand the recreational opportunities that we offer in our community, and with that comes a lot of benefits, such as not only helping our own residents so that they have more sports and activities to do, but also bringing people from outside of the city and putting that spotlight on Moreno Valley. So tonight we recognize Moreno Valley Sports Club's alignment with our city's goal of providing accessible recreational opportunities for everyone, enriching the lives of all of our residents. And accepting this proclamation is Mr. Al Masuk, along with the entire Moreno Valley Sports Club. If you could please join me, if we could give them a big round of applause as they come up, please. I have to get me one of those shirts so I could represent as well. Good to see you, good to see you. You got me one, okay. Good to see you, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Good to see you. How are you, how are you? Hi, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, man.
Good to see you. So this is the Moreno Valley Sports Club, or part of the sports club, because it's a big group, and I know there's many who could not make it here today, but they constantly have different tournaments and events happening, from Lake Paris to our Conference and Rec Center, and it's just a true honor to be able to be here, and also want to give them the recognition for reaching out to the city and proposing this proclamation that we have not done before. It's the first time that we actually issue this particular proclamation. So I want to thank them for this as well. And I'm going to read a little bit off of the proclamation and then ask Mr. Al Masuk if you'd care to share a few words. I'll pass the mic over to you. But the proclamation reads, whereas the City of Moreno Valley recognizes the importance of community organizations dedicated to promoting sports and recreation opportunities for its residents, and whereas Moreno Valley Sports Club, represented by Al Masuk, has demonstrated a commitment to enhancing the recreational landscape of our city through their proposal for a badminton court, and whereas MVSC has actively engaged our community since its establishment in 2018, organizing numerous sports events that bring together youth, elders, and children across Moreno Valley, Paris, and the Inland Empire. And whereas MVSC's efforts have garnered recognition within the Southern California Bengali community, attracting participants from all corners of California to their tournaments and events. And now therefore, be it proclaimed by the City Council of Moreno Valley that we encourage all residents to support MVSC in their endeavors to further enhance the sporting landscape of Moreno Valley and congratulate them on all of their continued contributions to our community. Thank you so much. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and open the floor, pass it over to you, Al-Masuk, to share a few words.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Mr. Ulysses Cabrera, the councilman, and Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you for giving us the opportunity at the first place to be in front of you guys. This is our actually small team. Our team is much bigger, okay? So we do a lot of events for kids, for adults, for every type of games we do, indoor and outdoors. Basically, we're getting old, and our kids they're always on the phones or iPads or everywhere. So we wanted to show the community or the people or the kids involved with sports activity health awareness. So that way it's enrich our everything all together, the whole system, okay? And for that, we wanted to we presented an idea to the Parks and Recreation Center for having open up a badminton court, which was the first time ever it's open. So thank you everyone for helping us to that. And slowly we'll bring out more ideas, share with Honorable Mayor and you guys, what can we do? So bring more people into the city with the sports and health activity and all that stuff. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for you guys' support and everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. With that, I'll go ahead and formally present the proclamation to you and the Moreno Valley Sports Club for all the work that you do. I'll go ahead and hand that over to you, and I'll invite my colleagues on the council so that we could take a nice group picture as well.
Okay. We'll be on that side, so.
We could even move back just in case for the steps.
Get on the steps.
Make sure everybody comes out.
One, two, and three. And one for safety. One, two, and three.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Take a 1 minute to shoot that work.
Okay.
Just take it.
Let me put the microphone back over here. Yeah. Since we have some time.
So we had our 2024 annual Sports Day event yesterday. On behalf of City of Moreno Valley, Honorable Mayor was gonna attend the program, but he had some emergency came out. So we brought a plaque for him, so we're gonna present in front of you guys, okay? Thank you so much for a minute.
And this is a surprise. I did not know this was going to happen, but you know, I appreciate it, and I'll give Al just a second as he comes back up here.
Okay. On behalf of Moreno Valley Sports Club, and here you go. This is for you.
Wow.
Pictures.
This is, thank you so much. It even has my picture. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for this. This is going to go in my office and definitely going to brighten up the office. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. We have some jerseys for you. Thank you so much.
Good to see all of you. Good to see you. Thank you. A pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you again. Good to see you. That's definitely a first. I don't know if I've ever gotten an award with my picture on it, but truly appreciate it. Thank you so much to the Moreno Valley Sports Club and to our amazing city staff, the Parks and Recreation Department. You know, we are in the beginning phases of the summer now, and it is very hot outside. And, definitely want to just give a friendly reminder to stay hydrated, make sure you're drinking a lot of water, make sure you're, protecting yourself from the sun, wearing your hats wherever you have to, and having a safe summer out there. So with that, concludes our special presentations for today, and we'll be back in approximately 11 minutes for our regular council meeting. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the joint meeting of the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley Community Services District Board of Directors, City as Successor Agency for the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Moreno Valley Housing Authority Board of Directors, Moreno Valley Public Financing Authority Board of Library Trustees, and the Moreno Valley Community Foundation Board of Directors. The City Council receives a separate stipend from the Community Services District if any CSD business is conducted at the meeting. I now call this meeting to order on June 25th, 2024 at 6:01 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Delgado. And for the invocation, I'll lead us in the invocation for this evening, seeing as our pastor is not here yet.
Please join me by placing your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll double check again. Still no pastor? Okay. If you could bow your heads with me, please. Father God, we first and foremost want to give you thanks for having us here together, for waking us up this morning and letting us conduct the business here in the city for the betterment of our community and our residents, for their well-being and their success. We ask that you give us wisdom so we can make the best decisions possible for our community, and that you would continue keeping us on the right path so we can move this city forward into the best possible future for all of our residents. It's in your name we pray. Amen. That brings us next to item D. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Baca Santa Cruz,
Here.
Councilmember Delgado,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bernard,
Here.
and Mayor Cabrera.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next up is E, motions to excuse. We are all present here this evening. That brings us next to staff introductions, please.
Jane Halstead, City Clerk.
Paul Bradvica, Deputy City Clerk.
Steve Quintanilla, City Attorney.
Mike Lee, City Manager.
Brian Mohan, Assistant City Manager over Administration.
Sean Kelleher, Assistant City Manager Development.
Kimberly Gademian, Deputy Finance Director.
Harold Zamora, Assistant City Engineer, Public Works.
Jeremy Bubnick, Director of Parks and Community Services.
Robert Cardenas, Human Resources Director.
Cruz Esparza, Economic Development and Housing Director.
Ken Reichel, Chief of Police.
And Jesse Park, Fire Chief.
Good evening, staff. It's always a pleasure to be here in the chamber with you. Next up is G, approval of order of the agenda. And I would like to call for a vote on the approval, if there's a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Delgado, second by Councilmember Baca Santa Cruz. Madam Clerk, a vote, please.
It's a 4-0 vote, Mayor.
Thank you. That brings us next to H, which is public comments on matters not on the agenda. Please be advised that the city is currently offering Spanish translation services. If anyone is interested in this service, please let us know. La ciudad actualmente ofrece servicios de traducción al español. Si alguien está interesado, por favor, nos avisan. Before we move on to public comments, I would like to remind everyone to direct their comments to the City Council. For any comments on items that are on the agenda, each speaker will have a total of 3 minutes to comment. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to comment on any items not on the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I have about 7. I'll call 3 at a time. The first one is Luis Palomares, followed by Taisha Julian and Dr. Carla Richmond, followed by Fred Buñuelos.
Louise Palomares, community activist. I have my purse here because I'm ready to dash to the school board after. Because our last meeting was canceled because we didn't have a quorum because the mayor was out of town on his personal business again. How many more out-of-town personal businesses could there be? There's already been 2 cancellations of meetings here and 1 study session. Why don't we know where you're at? What are you doing? Last time you were in Atlanta and you were all excited about all their murals over there. You want our city to look like that, you said. And then you were somewhere else at another, for your job, on the job deal. Are you here to serve us, the community, or somebody else's community? What's going on here, Mayor? That's what I want to know. It's a shame that we can't have a meeting because of you. Because of you. The city revolves around you now. What are we running, a dictatorship here? Are we in Russia? Are we in North Korea? I mean, everybody revolves around you. Everything does. And when they gave you that today, I said, oh my God, these poor people really just don't know. We're stagnant here in the city. There's nothing going on. At the planning commission, they don't even got nothing to pass anymore. All it is a bunch of storage. Well, I guess we're going to have to store our furniture, and then when we end up starting losing our houses because of all the taxes and the bonds and everything else. I mean, you're making life here hard for us in the community. We've been here 40 years plus. You're the newbie on the block here, and it's all about your personal agenda, me, what's in it for me. I'm here to serve myself. You're a political prostitute, climbing the ladder on us, the voter. You serve 200 and plus people here. Or you're serving yourself. You're in it for yourself. What's in it for me? I'll get a car out of the deal. I'll get this out of the deal. I'll get that out of the deal. I'm on the Corey Jackson bandwagon. Get rid of the canine deal. Oh, you're on all of that when they were talking about it here. Don't you have any shame in your game? And then for you to open, I almost fell. For you to open up with a prayer, a lie, a lie, a lie, a lie. You're a liar, fake, phony, and a fraud. And it shames me that I got to be a part of this community now because you got us going backwards, not forward. We're going backwards. Backwards. I look all around the city, every district, it's all, all dry. It looks awful. The businesses, they don't have no money to keep up their lawns. What's really going on? The businesses, what's really going on? Mike Lee was bringing a lot of businesses here, and a lot was coming, but now we're at stagnant. They showed me a thing at one of the meetings that Elena had. Oh, this is all the stuff. That wasn't Dr. Exxon Gutierrez supervisor. No, that was on his watch, not on your watch. All you've been doing is giving away the Neuromural money, this money, the grant. What about us? Serve us, not yourself. Serve us. We're the people that you got to serve, not yourself. Thank you.
The next 2 speakers want to speak together so they understand it's 3 minutes. So it's Taisha Julian and Dr. Carla Richmond, followed by Fred Benuelos and Aaliyah Carrillo.
Hi, I am Dr. Talisha A. Julian. This is Dr. Carla Richmond, and we are here to say to the Mayor, Mr. Mayor, and to all the council members that we appreciate y'all service, what y'all have done for the Edgemont Women's Club. But there has been a change in the Edgemont Women's Club with the leadership that our former president, Dr. Mary McBean, is no longer the president any longer, that has been voted in as the new president. Carla is the treasurer, and we just want to say that everything that we have done in serving and uplifting the community will continue to go on with our lighting project and every other event, and with the blood bank and helping the community and the youth and the children and the family. That would not stop. But we just wanted y'all to know, since we do partner with y'all, that the Edgemont Women Club have had a change in leadership, that Mary McBean is no longer the president. And that's it. And we thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Fred Benuelos, followed by Aaliyah Carrillo and Daryl Terrell.
Hello, everyone. Groups get to request a special color lighting for our M, and our website says that there'll be no political or controversial requests. They won't be approved. Well, recently, June 8th, it was orange for every town for Gun Safety Support Fund. My definition of gun safety is going to be totally different from every town's, and I'm sure the California Rifle and Pistol Association would be different as well. I don't think that should have been allowed. I want to know who requested it, and I want to know who approved it. You know, you're going down a slippery slope when you start letting groups push their political agenda. So what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. So if you don't stop that, I'm going to want to see that M my color. There was it was rainbow as well for Pride Month. I don't have a problem with that, but you have people that are going to be disagreeing. And at your level, you guys are nonpartisan, so I think our city should stay nonpartisan. When I come here, I don't push my politics on anybody. I don't talk about what party I am, and I think it should remain that level. That brings me to our library. You know, our library, when it was presented, the mural, I saw that I didn't see any BLM. I didn't see Love is Love. But recently when I look at it, that's on there now. So I don't know how that slipped by. Was it approved later? You know, again, we're talking about political issues, controversial. And on a city building, I don't think it should be on there. Because everybody's, you know, they're not going to disagree. I mean, they're not going to agree. So please follow up with me. Let me know if that's going to change. Because again, I'll start pushing my political agenda. And I really don't want to do that. I want to keep it nonpartisan. The other thing is Riverside County Transportation Commission. I believe there's two of you guys that are on here. Please go back. I don't know what's going on with that, but no new taxes. We don't need no new taxes to fix a state-related problem. If you notice the posts that they're putting out, it's a lot of propaganda. They're saying, you know, let's fix this, fix that. But a lot of people are waking up and saying, we don't want any new taxes. Fix the roads with what the money that you already get. We already get taxed enough. And I'm going to keep on going to those posts and make sure that people are educated that what they're trying to do is pull a fast one on you, make them like them, it seems like, and then ask later to put a ballot, a thing on the ballot to get more money, more taxes. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Aaliyah Carrillo, followed by Daryl Terrell, followed by Joe Teague.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Elia Carrillo.
Un momento, por favor, if we could pause the clock. ¿Gusta un traductor? Sí? Sí.
I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good to go. If you could, sorry about that. If you want to go ahead and restart the clock to 6 minutes, and then the translator is ready to go. Gracias.
Gracias a usted. Sí, mi nombre es Elia Carrillo.
My name is Elia Carrillo.
Soy la presidenta de una organización sin fines de lucro
I'm the president of a nonprofit organization
llamada Volver a Amar.
Called Volver a Amar.
Somos personas humildes y sencillas uniendo nuestros corazones, dones y talentos para crear mejores seres humanos.
We're a humble group of people that are coming together with our hearts, our talents, to come together and help the community.
¿Cómo lo vamos a lograr? Estamos haciendo ventas de comida,
And how are we going to do it? We're doing food sales,
ventas de garage.
garage sales.
Recibimos donaciones de las personas que tienen cosas en su casa que no las necesitan.
We receive donations from people that have items at their homes that they don't need.
Y esto lo estamos usando para darles talleres a niños.
And these funds we're using to do workshops for kids.
Todavía no los empezamos, estoy aquí para eso.
We haven't started yet. That's the reason why I'm here.
Tenemos niños desde los 5 años hasta los 21,
We have children from the age of 5 to 21.
creando talleres de música como guitarra, piano, saxofón, acordeón.
We are creating workshops for kids in music such as guitar, saxophone,
Baile,
dance,
dibujo,
drawing,
deporte,
sports,
todo lo que al niño no le haga agarrar un celular.
anything that's available for a child, not necessarily on a cell phone.
Todo lo que al niño no lo haga estar en casa triste.
Anything that a child can do that is not at home sad.
Estando en un juego, tratando de evadir que el papá no está.
trying to be in a game, evading the question that the father is not at home.
Esto me ha hecho fuerte para estar aquí ante ustedes y pedirles, necesito un lugar donde esos niños acudan a tener esos talleres.
And that has given the strength to me to be here in front of you to ask you for your assistance, because I need a place or location where these children can be.
Dios quiera que en esta ciudad de Moreno Valley haya niños que sean el mejor deportista o a lo mejor un mejor cantante o el mejor guitarrista. No sabemos.
Lord willing, in this city that maybe we have the best sports player, maybe the best singer. We really honestly don't know.
Nunca había visto niños estresados. Yo cuido niños del gobierno y veo niños estresados.
I've never seen so many children under stress. I take care of kids through the government, and I've never seen so many kids under stress.
So, muchas gracias por escuchar.
So thank you very
Gracias.
much for listening to me.
Thank you. And if you can leave your contact information, si puede dejar su información, ahorita uno de nuestros empleados habla con usted. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Daryl Terrell, followed by Joe Teague and Elaine Vu.
Hi, my name is Daryl Terrell. I'm not speaking as a planning commissioner, but as myself. Next Thursday, we will be celebrating Independence Day. 248 years ago, the birthing of our great nation began. So much to be thankful for. America is a aspirational work in progress, and this country is at a difficult moment in history right now. We have significant issues that must be addressed. We have tensions that must be resolved and challenges that must be overcome. Let's remember this. Do you know how unlikely it was that our American experiment would succeed at all? That a small band of patriots would declare independence from a powerful empire, and that they would form in the new world what the old world had never known, a government of, by, and for the people. That unyielding spirit is what defines us as Americans. It's what led generations of pioneers to blaze a westerly trail. It's what led my grandparents' generation to persevere in the face of a depression and triumph in the face of tyranny. It's what led ordinary residents who dared to dream, brought the communities of Sunnymead, Marino, Edgemont together to form one city and one people. It's what has always led us as a city, not to wilt or cower at a difficult moments like a pandemic, but to face down any trials and rise to any challenges, understanding that each of us has a hand in writing our city's destiny. Meeting these extraordinary challenges our city faces will require an extraordinary effort on the part of each of you in this room or who are watching at home. And that is the effort we cannot defer any longer. We have learned in the years since our independence that democracy isn't always easy or pretty. We may have difficult opinions, but we believe in the same promise that says this is a city where we believe in the same, promise that says this is where you can make it if you try. We may have different backgrounds, but we believe in the same dream that says this is a city where anything is possible, no matter where you come from or no matter who you are. While we may not see eye to eye on everything, we share a love for the city and the faith in its future. And that spirit we need to harness now. That's how we meet our city's challenges, and that's how we create a brighter day. And this is our moment, to unite in a common purpose to give our residents a reason to hope again. And because we are stronger together, we could do a lot together if we put our differences aside for a brighter tomorrow. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Joe Teague, Elaine Vu, followed by Christopher Baca.
Okay, my name is Joe Teague. I'm a real long-time resident of this valley. I've been here since back in the late 50s. I'm grandfathered in on most everything I have, including my trash cans that the code compliance officer always complains about. I've got 10, so I've evicted most of my tenants right now, but I've got a daughter. She's in no condition to, there's no back doors on her apartment. She cannot wheel a big trash container around the house. And it's terrible the way they've been treating me. I get letters all the time. They're going to find me and all this and that and the other. And they've had some illegal intrusions on my property, which I am very much against. And I want that stopped. One more thing. On June the 18th, I had a visitor from the city of Moreno Valley. She is supposed to be a social worker. She was escorted by a police officer. And as far as being a social worker, acting in my interest, she had no interest in what I had to say. Her interest was very far off from what they should have been. If I brought up a subject that I thought was in my interest, I was cut off. So I called up and I left a message on her telephone on June the 19th. That was a national holiday. And I also called up on June the 20th, and I told her I wanted confirmation that all that meeting between us was completely erased because her ulterior motives wasn't in my interest at all. And I smell a rat in that part. Now then, on the good side, I'm real happy that you opened the meeting with a pledge of allegiance and a prayer. That can bring tears to my eyes. And then to go on further, I want to compliment Officer Tim Brush and Officer Torres. They went all out getting the homeless out of that flood control. I had nothing but burglaries. My fence was cut. Houses was broken into, and most all of that has ceased. And I have a lot of interest. I can feel a little bit safer about leaving my daughter Becky.
Thank you, sir.
I want to thank the two officers for
Thank you, Mr. Teague. Thank you. The 3 minutes is up, but thank you. Thank you very much.
And I want to thank you for hearing what I had to say.
Thank you, sir.
The next three speakers are Elaine Vu, Christopher Baca, and Julie Pedrosa.
Good evening. Thank you, all city members and city council for serving our city, especially for police department, firefighters, animal patrol, and I appreciate you all, working hard to make our city better. Like him, I do really appreciate you guys did the Pledge of Allegiance and the prayers, so I appreciate that. And I'm here because follow-up regards to the neighborhood watch with the police department. We've actually attended our Moreno Valley Ranch community and talked to our community manager as well as the board members, and they would welcome police, to come and educate the citizens in our community, Moreno Valley Ranch, which is almost 4,000 homes. And so we are hoping to maybe be a pilot program for that, just to start with the police department, connect with Neighborhood Watch, because I've had other Neighborhood Watch, but I don't feel like I could trust them, so I don't feel like I would want to join that. So I believe that if it's like a, legit, like police doing it, then I would feel more safe to be part of that, and I'm sure other people would be as well. And so our community is open, so we have a clubhouse there, and that's free for, education and also connecting homeowners with signing up with that. So I'm also going to be subbing for the school district next year, so I could, if this is a good thing, I can recruit other teachers who live in Moreno Valley to join this. So hopefully it'll be a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you. And also if you could make sure, we'll get your contact information to follow up with you. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Christopher Baca, Julie Pedrosa, followed by Philip Rosenberg.
Good afternoon, elected officials and city staff and community. The primary thing I wanted to talk about was upcoming election, excuse me, about the upcoming election and also regarding the register of voters and the possibilities of observing the voting process. The nomination period for our city openings, which would be District 3, which Mr. Mark has vacated, and the mayor, the nomination period is, I believe it's open now, and it goes on till early August. It's a short period, but for those that are interested in running for those positions, you know, I really think people that, you know, are educated by Google and YouTube and so forth have so much to say and criticize the government that I believe people, if you're really that concerned, we really should have a lot of people running for these positions, especially mayor. And as far as a register of voters is concerned, there's a lot of opportunities to go and analyze and visualize and see how the process works, because we have a lot, you know, the main concern in this nation at this time is voter fraud and so forth. Our system here, particularly in Riverside County, is, you know, it works excellent. And there's so many opportunities for people to go out there and see how the process works, all the way from people dropping off their ballots, who gets their ballots. You can look at the register list and you can see the process and observe how, you know, they go into these vans, these unmarked vans from one place and end up back over here, and you can see the process. So, you know, before people start criticizing that there's voter fraud and so forth, in reality, there's voter fraud on both sides. It's equal on both sides. Yes, there is, but it's minimal. It's a small percentage, but it's equal on both sides. It's not on one side. So now, on the other hand, as far as our mayor's concerned, you know, the guy is a good image for our city. You know, he's a young Hispanic male, which is a good, you know, a good image for our city. But his performance needs to be scrutinized, and I don't think his performance is all that. I would consider running myself for mayor. I believe I can do a better job than him, but we'll see. But regardless, you know, Darrell Terrell for mayor. You know, we got a lot of people that can run the city a lot better than it's being run at this point. I encourage Mr. Cabrera, if he is reelected, if he should really, you know, take a step back and put his priorities where they should be.
The next three speakers are Julia Pedrosa, Philip Rosenberg, followed by Bob Palomares.
Good evening, Julianne Pedrosa, Building Up Lives Foundation. Just give me a little bit of update. We're pretty excited. We will be trucking in Trader Joe's food, their donations to our community. We have Riverside Kaiser, who is donating to us now, and Moreno Valley Kaiser will be donated. This is a first for the hospital. They have not done that yet to any nonprofit, so I'm pretty excited about that for our community. Food is a little bit harder to get nowadays. The food banks are kind of drying up. You have to go a little bit further to get that. So we're pretty excited to be able to offer that into our city for those that need. Trader Joe's gives a little bit of everything. They give us flowers, which I absolutely think is the greatest thing, because we give that to our seniors and they get so excited. Like, it's the best feeling to give them flowers, because they don't get that, right? And so pretty excited about that. We had Dana, I don't know if you remember me talking about his esophagus being closed, and we got him into housing. Took Dana yesterday to the doctors and Social Security and stuff. A couple things he still needs to do But we're working on it. He's got a long road at 6'4" and 100 pounds. That's a lot of weight that he needs to put back onto himself and get himself fit. Still trying to figure out some of the rabbit holes I'll be going down next month and why it's not connecting, why all the services for homeless, there's all this funding and services, but then when I call to get those services, Dana is one example, 8 social workers we talked to, 8. Not one gave him housing. 2 gave a bus pass to Path of Life. Path of Life is not open at 7 p.m. for a man that is vomiting every 15 minutes. They're not going to allow that. They're going to send him back to the hospital. So this man went to the hospital twice. I was there with him 14 hours, 13 and a half. And if they went to Path of Life, he would have gone 3 times. What a waste of our funding. So we need to figure out what that is. So next month, that's the rabbit hole I'll be going down, is why are we not connecting? I do get a lot of homeless that come out of the hospital and they really shouldn't have been released. Like they should be in a board and care, not on the streets with open wounds. So I'm trying to figure out that answer. Hopefully I'll be able to come back with a solution to that. We also got 7 new babies. A mama and 5 little kittens were born, and we are fostering them. And we got a little guy. He's very high energy, and he's 8 weeks, ready for adoption. Cats.
The next speakers are Philip Rosenberg, followed by Bob Palomares.
Good evening, everybody. Just want to let you guys have a little bit of an update. So currently we're going to be doing a couple different things for youth with our programs. So first off, we have a little juice bar so that way youth can come during the summer, get some work experience, and they have something to do. They're not bored at home, and they're out the heat. Also, another thing that I'm currently attempting to work on with our school district is I want to initiate something kind of like a runner-up, I guess you could say, where I want to be able to challenge my school and myself simultaneously. I had a portion of time I dropped out of school, I'm behind in credits, but I still would like to strive to have something like valedictorian, strive for scholarships, stuff like that. And I notice in school there's a separation. There's the kids that are there because they're forced to be there by the parents because they have to go to school, and there's the kids that actually want to learn. So I think in doing this, not only is it a way for us to still get some sort of achievement, but we can engage the students that directly are motivated and want to go to school and strive for higher opportunities to work with the school and have that opportunity. We're still kind of figuring things out. I meet with my principal this week to discuss it, but I just want everybody to have an open mind about it and think what kind of programs and initiatives we can take within that kind of result. Anyways, thank you, and I think you all do a wonderful job, so thank you for having me.
The final speaker is Bob Palomares.
Good evening, Council. As usual, I always like to salute our first responders. And Chief Reichel, I heard you're leaving us. That's what I heard on the highways and byways. And I just want to thank you, if you are, for all that you've done for this city. You've shown, from what I've seen, what you've taken on. And your job, it's not an easy job. It takes special people, I believe, to be a sheriff. But what you were leading, with what you were dealing with, the time that you've been here, you've shown great leadership and integrity. And this city or any city deserves nothing but the best, and you're a good example of that. Done. So thank you, sir. What I wanted to talk about was what we don't have. At one of the council meetings, Councilman Delgado had mentioned about the fire, prevention for the city, because summer's coming and, a lot of brush is dry. What we don't have here in this city, and we should have, because I know the city goes on, they've been doing a great job in District 1, because that's what I've seen, and part of District 2, cleaning up all the mess from the homeless. Been doing a great job. But that costs a lot of money. What I would like to see is, I would like to see a youth program where we get the kids. There's a lot of kids in the city that don't have jobs. And we can go to the County Board of Supervisor, Dr. Exian Gutierrez, and ask him for some money so we can get some work crews to go out and clean up the mess that the homeless leave behind. Or at the request of senior citizens that need help, like Mr. Teague. You know, when he was saying that his door was broken, you know, there's a lot of youth that they can do a lot. And that's what we need here. I know we do the cleaning up maybe 3 or 4 times a year, but I'm talking about really cleaning up, you know, and putting these young kids to work. That's what's missing here. And we'll have them cleaning the streets, and believe me, you'll see a big improvement. And if we get it from the Board of Supervisors, the money, it won't cost us nothing. Thank you.
That concludes public comment on items not on the agenda, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. That brings us next to item I, which is the joint consent calendars. We are going to go ahead and move into this agenda item. And before I open the consent calendar for public comment, I ask my fellow council members if there are any items that you wish to remove from the consent calendar for separate action.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to remove I-7
I-7.
for discussion.
Moving I-7 off the consent calendar for discussion. Okay. Are there any further items from the council? I don't see any.
Mayor, if I may interject, I'd like to make a comment on item I-5, general municipal election, please.
Item I-5? Okay, let's, give me just 1 second here. So let's, if Councilmember Delgado doesn't mind, maybe we can just take the comment from our city clerk for I-5 and then we can move into I-7.
That's acceptable.
Okay, good
Madam Clerk.
evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. The item before you tonight is the general municipal election of November 5th, 2024. The reason that I wanted to make a comment is this afternoon we met with they had a candidates workshop and we were given the nomination papers and updates on costs. We had got estimated costs for the candidate statement. And so they're still working on it. We've got some estimated costs for instance, let me read you the estimated costs. For the mayor, it'll be $1,100. Tomorrow, they're gonna give us a different cost. For District 1 and District 3, both short-term and regular term, it's $700. And then they gave us a cost of the electronic placing the candidate statement on the ROV website. That's going to be $260. In our resolution, we had $250 because initially that's what they had given us. But now it's changed to $260. So we'll be changing that on the resolution. That concludes my update.
Thank you for that clarification, Madam Clerk. So with that, we'll go ahead and move over to item I-7, which is state budget and economic update, and I'll open the floor for Councilmember Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to ask Finance or Brian to kind of give us an idea of how this budget and the governor's budget is going to affect the city of Moreno Valley in a positive or a negative way. Brian, could you do that for us?
Thank you, Councilmember. Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. The item before you tonight is an item I wrote out of the city manager's office. It was actually written prior to the June 18th meeting. prior to the publishing of that meeting, which occurred on June 13th. So what I'm going to discuss is what is in the staff report. But just please note that the state has now come out with a formal budget, and hopefully at some point it will be law in the next coming days, unless there's additional negotiations. The report discusses the current state deficit, along with the governor's and legislators' plan to balance that state budget, which included the use of reserves, spending cuts, delays in spending appropriations, deferrals, and also funding shifts of various revenues and expenditures. Based on their published plan in the governor's May budget revise, the report will also discuss the potential impact to our local budget, as we are starting to get some indicators as to what that plan actually looks like, along with various economic pressures that will impact our budget going into the second year of our current budget cycle, which is fiscal year 24-25. The report is very lengthy. It's a 10-page, 11-page staff report. There's a lot of detail in there. I'm only going to really try and concentrate probably on what Councilmember Delgado is really looking for, is how is the state budget impacting our local operations? And then I'll also touch base on a little bit of an economic update as we probably are looking at some revisions to our second year budget. The various impacts based on the state budget plan, they are looking at reduction in spending in youth spending, affordable housing, behavioral health, public safety in corrections, and post-release community supervision, and then transportation. Specifically, what does that mean to the city overall? Still unknown specifically to the actual dollar amounts, but the city does receive roughly $9 million from the state related to after-school programs. And these programs serve over 3,600 students per day. From an affordable housing perspective, as there are less funds within affordable housing, it inhibits our ability to work with our affordable developers and go out for those particular dollars. If you recall, our HUD entitlement process is roughly $700,000 for the home investment partnership, which is the monies that we can use for our affordable developers and to join forces with them to try and build affordable housing. So we always tap into state dollars, tax credits, PHLA funding, and so forth. So if there's less funding available, there will be less ability for the cities, local jurisdictions, and affordable developers to be able to put these deals together, which are highly subsidized. And so that's why the funding is needed. When it comes down to behavioral health, there are reductions in the behavioral health are related to that new proposition that was approved by voters. So the impact is not yet to be seen, but if they're reducing the overall behavioral health budget in the state budget, what that means to us is it puts puts the behavioral health mobile crisis teams that we have in our city could jeopardize their funding, as they're getting funding from the state for behavioral health. But the new proposition might assist that. But if you recall, that was taking money away from the counties to be able to provide to the state to be able to pay back the debt service on the bonds. So we'll have yet to see how that is implemented. Transportation, there is going to be less transportation monies available from a grant perspective and pass-through perspective to local jurisdictions. So that means that the highly competitive grants that we apply for, there'll be just less funding to go around. And so our regional funding sources, I believe there was a speaker tonight that said, you know, we do things regionally, and RCTC was looking for some regional funding. Well, if the state isn't have the ability to provide that funding, there needs to be other sources regionally. And so we still want to make sure that we have our bridge funding and other local funding for our streets. From the so that is an overall gist of how the state potentially will impact our local budget. From an economic update, statewide revenues continue to be on a downward trend. We've actually now seen this for over 4 quarters or 1 full year. Sales and use tax receipts in fourth quarter of 2023, which is the last quarter released, were down 2.5% lower than the same quarter 1 year prior. Fourth quarter is October through December. It includes holiday spending. So this is usually when we see the largest tax revenues coming into not only the state, but then also trickling down to local jurisdictions. That general consumer for that particular quarter, the general consumer experienced lackluster sales in which pulled back about 3.4% from a sales perspective. Although revenue from major sectors slowed, restaurant sales remained steady and actually gained about 1%. But if you recall, the whole restaurant industry right now is dealing with AB 1228, which became effective April 1st. And that's where potentially, depending on the ownership of the restaurants and how many they have in their chain, you now are seeing a larger minimum wage. And so they're dealing with how do they absorb that, pass that cost on to individuals and or reduce the labor force to curb the increased costs. Locally, if we take a step back from the state economic update, locally, the same type of trends are affecting us. We've realized an overall decline of 4.9% for the same period as well over 4 quarters. And this is all based on our sales tax consultant, HDL. They are about the foremost expert statewide, and they're actually estimating a $2.5 million reduction in our sales tax compared to our current budget for next year. So what we're doing in talking with them is we wanted just to take one more quarter. So we should be getting the January through March information from CDTFA shortly, because they're always almost a quarter in arrears. So about the end of June, early July, we'll have that information. And we want to see if that trend is continuing. Typically 4 quarters, you're saying, okay, there's a softening. You get past 4 quarters and you're really looking at recessionary periods. And depending on your definition of recession, it could be 2 quarters, but from a national standpoint. So we are monitoring this very close, and we do, based on our budget policies and so forth, we come back every quarter. So in November of this year, we'll be coming back for the July through September activity, and we'll have at that time not only quarter 1, but also quarter 2 of 2024. So we'll have 2 more quarters of data to be able to make a really good decision as to what we need to do with our budget coming year. And so if that holds true and the trend continues, the $2.5 million request, that particular first quarter review will be how do we either shore up from a reduction in expenditures or an increase that we're seeing somewhere else in revenues. But we'll have to address that at some point. With that, that concludes my comments related to this particular report.
So just this, we understand that there's a trickle-down effect in the budget, in any budget that we're dealing with the state. We get it. What is very disturbing to me on page 3 or your notes on page 8 is that they are on the public safety side, public safety corrections post-release, as I was, well, hold on. The public safety corrections post-release, with the closure of 4,600 prison beds, there can be an increase of the current state practice of early release program, which causes criminals to be let out early in our jurisdiction. So, yes, financial trickle-down effect for sure, because that's just the way it is. We have to we have so much in Sacramento, and we all have to bear the grunt of some of the deductions. But this is scary. 4,600 beds throughout the state of California, which Southern California, I don't know how many inmates would be coming back down to Southern California, and more importantly, Moreno Valley or our area. 4,600 inmates will be released early because of $80.6 million reduction in public safety. So that's going to affect our calls for service. That's going to increase. It could. And now I'm not I don't have my crystal ball, but we've seen this before. 47 and 57 and AB 109, we saw this increase in early releases. It's going to affect us. So that was, to me, that was the scariest, and I really wanted to know from your point of view on kind of like the financial side, how are we going to deal with it? So, I mean, increased officers, I don't know how that's going to work, but it's going to take money, and it looks like we're going to be receiving a lot more convicted felons released early into our communities. That's going to affect it's going to affect all of us, actually.
Yes, and from a financial perspective, when we look at budgetary cycles and forecasting, we do a holistic review of best practices with our consultants, with state experts. Michael Coleman out of state capitol has California City Finances. He's one of the foremost experts of revenues up and down the state, as well as expenditures and how budgets affect local jurisdictions and so forth. So the one thing that we always do look at locally is our contract costs. Our contract costs, we're able to not have to absorb 100% of any one thing, because we are contract cities amongst many within the overarching contract for not only law enforcement, for our fire protection services. So that is a great way to be able, from a budgetary methodology perspective, be able to kind of thwart off a large impact. So minimal impacts we've been able to cover on balanced budgets during Prop 47, 57, 109, because of our contractual relationship and not having our internal law enforcement and fire protection services. But yes, it is always a worry of FMS and the CM's office. We are ultra conservative in our reviews of and estimates of revenues and expenditures. So we'll be watching this fairly closely over the next 6 to 18 months as this whole budget is being implemented.
Pretty scary. Thank you for that, Brian.
Okay, thank you for the report, Brian. Appreciate that. And is there any public comment on this item, Madam Clerk? Any requests?
No, there is not, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we'll go ahead and move back to the rest of the joint consent calendar minus item A7, or we can keep item A7 in there for the vote as well.
We could, I7 is good.
Keep it all together. Okay. At this time, we'll go ahead and, I'll ask one more time. Is there any public comment for the rest of the consent calendar?
No, there is not, Mayor.
Good evening. Just hearing about the comment regards to, early release.
Wait, just one moment while we get the clock up for you. Apologies. Want to make sure we give you 3 minutes. Okay, there we go.
Right, thank you. Good evening. In regard to the comment, the concern of having, budget issues and, early release of convicts. So there is, we can do fines, implement fines to, there's consequences for every behaviors, and that could help. And also recruiting the young, basically the recruitment for helping our city, provide whatchamacallit. In school, they have to provide certain amount of volunteer service from the students. So we can tap into that and get the students to volunteer to help the city, whether it be cleaning up on whatever things. So that could help with the funding. Just some thoughts. Thank you.
That concludes public comment, Mayor.
Thank you very much. So with that, now we'll go ahead and move into a motion and a second by the council.
I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Bernard and a second by Councilmember Delgado to approve the joint consent calendar. Please vote.
Motion in 4-0.
Thank you very much. Now, that brings us to item J on the agenda, which is public hearings, and we have one on the agenda this evening. It is J1 for National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, and we'll start off with a report from Public Works.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. The item before you this evening has 3 recommendations for your consideration. The first recommendation is to conduct a public hearing to review and confirm the annual regulatory rate schedule for new residential, common interest, commercial, industrial, and quasi-public land uses proposed for fiscal year 2024-25. The second recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving the proposed regulatory rates scheduled for fiscal year 2024-25. And the third and last recommendation is to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to adjust the rates levied on the property taxes in the event that there are any parcel changes between this meeting date and the date the fixed charges are submitted to the County of Riverside. This staff report provides the budget detail for the proposed rates that incorporate a 3.47 consumer price index increase from fiscal year 2023-24 maximum applied rates. The staff report recommends adoption of the resolution approving the proposed regulatory rates for fiscal year 2024-25. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for the report. That brings us next to any council questions of staff, if desired. I don't see any at the moment. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
We have no request to speak, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing. That brings us to any council deliberation, if desired. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve staff's recommendations.
So moved.
I'll second the motion. There's a motion by Councilmember Delgado, a second by myself. Please vote.
Vote is 4-0, Mayor.
And that brings us now to item K, which is general business. And we have one item here that is appointments to various boards and commissions. And we'll start with a report by our city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. The item before you tonight is appointments to various boards and commissions. So we have openings on the Environmental and Historical Preservation Board, the Senior Citizen Advisory Board, and Traffic Safety Commission. So for the Environmental and Historical Preservation Board, We have one individual, Gabriela Mendez, that her term is expired on 6/31/2024. She's District 3, and so her term is going to be extended until 12/31/2024. So District 3 council member will be seated, and he can interview her or see what he or she would like to do. So that was the recommendation by the mayor, that we do it this way, to give them a little, give the new person a say in who is going to be in the district. So we have council district representation. District 1, we have 1 member. District 2, we have 3 members. District 3, we have 1 member, which includes this Gabriela Mendez. And then for District 4, we have 2 members. That's the makeup. For the Senior Citizen Advisory Board, we have Robert Schneider from District 2, and his term would expire, he was recommended by District 2, his term would expire 6/30/2027, a 3-year term. And then we have Tina Escano, alternate member for District 1, recommended by District 1. Her term would end 6/30/2026. And so the remaining vacancies, there would be none. District 1 would have 1 member, and would be the alternate. District 2, 3 members. District 4, 2 members. And for traffic safety, we have 1 member, Kimberly Wallen, that her term expires on 6/30 of this year, 2024. She's District 3, so she'll be placed there until 12/31/2024. The vacancies remaining, 2 regular members and 1 alternate. So for District 1, there's 2 members. District 2, 1 member. District 3, 1 member. And District 4, 1 member. So the recommendation is approve the slate of mayoral nominees to various advisory bodies and extend those terms with expiring terms. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. So that brings us next to council questions of staff, if desired. Are there any council questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into public testimony. Do we have any requests to speak, Madam Clerk?
No request to speak, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So that brings us now to any council deliberation, if desired. I don't see anyone, but I do want to just briefly, I see some commissioners here with us, and actually one of the members that's on the agenda, Ms. Gabby Mendez, that is currently serving on the Environmental and Historical Preservation Board as one of our commissioners. And I know you're not in the agenda, Commissioner Yambo, but thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you for serving as well on the Environmental and Historical Preservation Board. So did I miss anyone? I just want to make sure I acknowledge any other commissioners that are here. And yes, Commissioner Zeitz from the Planning Commission as well. Thank you for your service. And anybody else? No? Yeah. I think that's everybody that we have here. So just, assuming that this gets approved, congratulations to Commissioner Mendez on being reappointed through December, and look forward to your continued service. Absolutely. Vice Chair. So Ms. Mendez is the Vice Chair of the Environmental and Historical Preservation Commission. So with that, unless there's any other deliberation, I'll entertain a motion and a second from the council.
I make a motion to accept.
I second.
A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Bernard, a second by Councilmember Bacasano Cruz. Please vote.
The vote's unanimous by a 4-0 vote.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, and congratulations to all of the approved commissioners on tonight's agenda. That brings us next to item L, which is the Regional Commission Committee Board Reports. We have a few this evening. First off, we will go to the March Joint Powers Commission, and that'll be a report given by Councilmember Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight, I'm providing an update from the March Joint Powers Commission meeting that was held on Wednesday, June 12th. We adopted budgets for March JPA and the related agencies, and we had a public hearing testimony about the West March Upper Plateau. At the conclusion of the hearing, the Joint Powers Commission voted to table the consideration of the project. And that concludes my update on the last March Joint Powers Commission meeting that was held on June 12th. Thank you.
Councilmember. Next is a report from the Riverside County Transportation Commission, and I'll be providing the report this evening for the RCTC meeting that was held at the Board of Supervisors building on June 12th. The commission approved the Metrolink operating and capital subsidies for fiscal years 24 and 25 and related action items. The commission established a one-year pilot program providing satellite meeting locations for commission meetings in the French Valley and Coachella Valley beginning September 2024. And that's an effort because there's so many members. It's approximately 30 members. There's one representative from each city, including all 5 Board of Supervisors that attend those meetings. But some of those members come from a really far distance, like Blythe and really long distances. So this is an effort to make sure that they have easier access, not only for the members to attend, but also for the constituents of those communities to more easily attend the RCTC meetings as well. So that concludes my report on the last RCTC meeting in June. Next up, we have a report for the Riverside Transit Agency Board of Directors, and that'll be a report from Mayor Pro Tem Bernard.
Tonight I'm providing the updates for the RTA Board Administration Operations Committee held on June 5th. The committee approved a disadvantaged business enterprise participation goal of 2.5% for federal fiscal years 2025 through 2027 as required under the Federal Transit Administration guidelines. The committee also approved and adopted amendments to RTA's Conflict of Interest Code, and that concludes my report on the last RTA Board Administration and Operations Committee meeting. Also, it's still 25 cents to ride RTA for the entire summer, and it's free every Friday.
There you have it. You heard it here first. Next up, we have 2 reports, the final 2 reports for this evening. First is WRCOG, and the second is the School District Joint Task Force, and those are both going to be reported by Councilmember Baca Santa Cruz.
Thank you. At the WRCOG Executive Committee meeting held on June 21st, a report of the Finance Department was received and filed. Additionally, staff recommendations were approved for the following: General Assembly and Executive Committee meeting schedules for 2025, the TUMP Credit and Reimbursement Agreement and Amendment, the 2024 TUMP 5-Year Transportation Improvement Programs for Northwest, Hemet, San Jacinto, and the Pass Zones, an MOU with SCAG and the REAP Sub-Regional Partnership Program 2.0 for reimbursement, modifications of program reports related to Direct Capital Providers Program. In addition, a presentation was provided by State Controller Malia Cohen regarding fiscal issues, and discussion was had regarding the 2024 General Assembly and planning kicked off for the 2025 General Assembly. I also attended for WRCOG the General Assembly held last week, and they brought in the LA Rams coach, Sean McVay, to speak to us about leadership. His presentation had 5, he spoke about 5 principles, and he used HEART as acronym. Humility, don't think less of yourself, think of yourself less. Energy, authentic energy pays off, hard work and dedication yield results. Attention, be fully present, listen to connect, not just to respond. Relationships, people won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And toughness, mental toughness, stay in control, manage your responses, be the thermostat and not a thermometer. So it was very inspiring to hear somebody of such high caliber talk to us about leadership, and those who attended were very engaged, and I look forward to next year's speaker because it was a fabulous presentation by WRCOG. That concludes my report for WRCOG. The next meeting is scheduled for August 5th, 2024. My next report is on the School District Joint Task Force. The School District Joint Task Force met. In addition to city representatives, there were also representatives for the Moreno Valley Unified, Valverde Unified, California State Parks at Lake Paris, Riverside County Board of Supervisors, 5th District, Think Together, and Rising Stars. Highlights include Moreno Valley Unified School District introducing their new superintendent, Dr. Alejandro Rubalcaba, who will be starting July 1st. He comes from Rosemead School District. Valverde Unified shared that they have received a $32.3 million grant, and they'll be using it for their community service programs such as their neighborhood health clinic, their free laundromat, and their adult learning programs. California State Park at Lake Paris are adding improvements to the park by adding interpretive panels along the trails and renovations of the Yaiheki, hope I got that right, Regional Indian Museum. The county supervisor's office is accepting applications for the Community Improvement Designation Grant Program, and they've launched their first-time home buyer down payment assistance program, which is aimed at helping low to moderate income individuals in purchasing their first home, and that can be up to $200,000 in a silent loan that will be forgiven. And finally, Rising Stars Business Academy introduced their street outreach team, and they announced 2 backpack giveaways. The first will be July 17th at Weston Park, and the second will be July 31st at Community Park. Both will be from 9 a.m. to noon. This concludes my report.
Thank you. And with that, we'll go ahead and move into the next item, which is item M, Employee Association Reports, and we don't have one this evening, which brings us to the most exciting part of our meetings, the famous City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. Just 2 items tonight. As you know, summer is here and it's getting really hot. So the city, we actually have 4 cooling centers. So when it gets over 97 degrees, we open our cooling centers. And the 4 cooling centers are Iris Plaza Library, the main library, the Senior Community Center, and Cottonwood Golf Course. And typically we have refreshments also there once we open the cooling center. And the second item is that our July 4th event, it's right around the corner. It is the largest event for the city and the very busy time for our Parks and Community Service Department. So they're busy preparing for this fantastic event. And once again, this year is going to be a fantastic event. The parade is going to start at 9:30 a.m. and it's going to start from Civic Center all the way down Frederick to the mall. And the Fun Fest is going to open at 3 p.m. And our fireworks show is going to be starting off at 9 p.m. And I was told it is the best fireworks show in Riverside County. So please do come and enjoy a fantastic event that our team is putting together for you. With that, that concludes the City Manager's report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. City Manager. Appreciate the report as always. And that brings us now to City Council closing comments, and we'll go to District 1 for Councilmember Banca Santa Cruz.
Thank you. I wanted to share that I recently attended a conference on behalf of the city. Last week, I went to the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officers in Las Vegas. There were many sessions that I attended. I spent most of the time learning about funding and programs that other cities have implemented, as well as a lot of struggles other cities are going through. And I must say that when I share what we're doing here in Moreno Valley, it's quite impressive. The collaboration we do with the school districts, with the Salvation Army, other entities aren't really doing that much like we are. So it's very proud moment to be able to share what city staff here are doing. You guys are doing an excellent job, and you make it so that I'm able to just brag about how much work you do. So thank you for allowing me to go and share the great work that you're doing, and thank you for doing that. I appreciate all the hard work and how much it goes into these programs, because honestly, other places just aren't doing as much as you're doing, so I appreciate that. I also attended the opening of the new game lair inside of the library, satellite library inside the Moreno Valley Mall. There were children that came in that were just shopping at the mall and were so excited to be able to try the VR. There was Nintendo Switches and iPads and I want to say Sega, but it's not Sega. It's like PlayStation or something. A lot of electronics that maybe are kind of expensive and not all the kids may have at home, but they are able to go there and use these items for free. So it was busy and very nice to be able to see that expansion happening up in District 1. So I was proud of that. I also attended right after the Gamers Lair, maybe right before it, the Manzanita Village Senior Living had a car show, and I got to talk with some of our seniors there, so that was fun to be able to spend some time with them. We also did the Beautify Movell, so thank you for coming out and helping to clean up Community Park. That was in District 1, and thanks for joining me. More. I had something I was going to say, and I lost
tagged some of her buildings, is what she was like.
I fixed it. I fixed it, just like all of our, I know what it was, all of our graffiti right away. As soon as we spot it, we were able to cover it up, and we did that day. And last Friday, I was able to go with Code, and we drove around Marina Valley, where I hope you've also noticed the beautification with Sunnymead Boulevard. Many of the businesses and the monuments have been replaced, painted, a lot of landscaping going on. We're pretty much done with contacting all of the businesses on Sunnymead, moving on to Alessandro. So soon you should be seeing a lot more care in the outside of our businesses, and that's in the hopes of creating economic growth, so that it's lovely to be able to attend these stores. So continue to reach out using the Myrna Valley app. There's a way to let us know about graffiti, upkeep, as well as shopping carts. Later that on Friday, I also went on a ride-along with PD, and also very, very interesting. The officer I went with, he not only knew all the areas. When he pulled up and encountered any unhoused community members, he knew them by name. They knew him by name. So the amount of time our officers spend interacting with our community, it shows in their interactions. I'm so proud of the work they're doing. I plan to do another ride-along very soon. And once again, I am at City Hall on Fridays during the summer, so if you would like to schedule a meeting, please reach out to city staff, and let's get that done. So this will be our last meeting till August, so please reach out to City Hall if you would like to meet with any of us. We're, like we said last time, we're not closed, we're not off, we're just not holding meetings, so continue to reach out. And please stay safe, no fireworks in Myrna Valley. Leave that to the professionals. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, closing comments from Councilmember Delgado.
Thank you. And how do I follow that, Ms. Elena? So, been kind of busy the last 3 weeks. The mayor and I toured the Target warehouse that you see on the 215. And the reason I even bring that up is because they employ over 1,400 workers in that warehouse, and a lot of them are from our city. So that place was huge, and it is kind of half automated and half person, workers in there. So it's got the technology and the hands-on. So it was really neat to see. I had my community engagement up in District 2. It was a great meeting. We had a lot of people show up, many topics, both directly for District 2 and then citywide. So we got a lot of stuff covered, and we did follow up with every single person that asked a question or had concerns, from the Sheriff's Department to our Parks and Community Services to our Public Works folks. So it was a really, really good meeting. I attended a meeting at the Senior Citizens Board, or they call it SCAB, Senior Citizens Advisory Board. They kept calling it SCAB, and I know what they're talking about, so I had to stop the meeting and ask them whatever they're referring to as SCAB. So lots of stuff for our seniors to do. So please go on the website and look out for things to do at the senior center and beyond, because they're actually putting some of these folks on buses and going around to casinos, and they're taking them other places for like what we called field trips. So if you want to check that out, go on our website for the senior citizens. They have a lot of stuff planned for the summer. I too attended the WRCOG General Assembly, and like Councilmember Baca Santa Cruz said, it was very inspiring. I wanted to go tackle someone after Sean was done with his speech. He was amazing, I really didn't know that he was going to be talking about leadership and the way he approached leadership and the acronym that he used for that. Very, very inspiring, and I could see why he is a world champion coach. So, and like Elena said, we are going on break, but we're not working throughout the summer. So we will still continue to work, go to our meetings. The only thing we won't be doing is having a council meeting. So we're still available. Just want to throw that out there. And obviously all the teachers are off for summer. So I have a lot of friends that are teachers that are close to my heart, and for them, just enjoy your summer, because August or September, whichever month you guys go back, is August, it's going to come really fast. So if you do take trips, like going south to Mexico, please be safe and return home safe. And on those lines, have a safe summer. There's going to be a lot of outdoor activities. There's going to be a lot of swimming, a lot of pool parties. Please watch your children. Stay cool, stay safe. And I got to make Kenny smile. So please be kind to one another. There it is. Thank you. Make someone smile as we adjourn this meeting and go off on our separate ways. Just say hi to someone and be kind to them. It goes a long way, right? He was my partner when we were painting last week, and he almost threw paint on me, and he started laughing. And I said, well, if I can get a laugh out of you, so be it. So thank you very much. Have a great, great break and a great 4th of July.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next up, Mayor Pro Tem Bernard.
So I just want to start off by saying, I wonder if anyone notices, because I know we've mentioned fireworks, but what I'm noticing is we're not seeing a lot of fireworks like we normally have seen. Oh, come on, you guys. I'm noticing it. Okay, my bad. So I just want to, I want to tell code enforcement and law enforcement, thank you for all your efforts for curbing that. As you know, as they put it yesterday at my meeting, we're not going to be able to zero-sum game it all, but we're going to be able to mitigate it, and I feel like a lot of it has been mitigated. But then again, as my colleagues have pointed out, the 4th hasn't been here yet. Also, I did attend, along with Councilmember Delgado, the Garden Knox family grand opening of their garden at the hospital, Riverside University Health System, which is just a garden that is very quiet, away from the hustle and bustle of the hospital, so that if a hospital resident is there, or if, for instance, you have a child that's in the hospital, they're able to go outside, get some fresh air, and just be in the garden. It's got canopies and everything, and it's very far away from the hospital. I was actually surprised at how quiet it was out there. So I got to attend that on behalf of this city. I also would like to thank everyone who came out to my community engagement meeting yesterday at Mountain Mike's. I saw a lot of new faces, and everyone just kind of, I do my meetings a little different. Nothing is really planned. I just kind of say, tell us what you want to talk about, and we go from there. And so I think we got a lot of the questions answered, from homelessness to housing, also dealing with public works, because we always care about our streets, our parks, and turf that Jeremy and I are going to work on figuring out how to get for football fields. So I thank everyone for coming out for that. I want to thank everyone that came out to the Juneteenth event. It was well attended, even though it ended up being the hottest day of the year. I still believe it was well attended. It was a lot of fun. My kids very much enjoyed the race car that was like going around. They thought that was fun. The bands were good. The shade covering was the best. You can kind of tell where the sun was depending on where everyone was stacked there, because as the sun shifts, they were all underneath the one shade that covered everything. There were a lot of good performances, so it was a very nice and enjoyable day. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's nothing else, but as I said, we are going on break from having meetings, but we are all still available. Please reach out to city staff. Please report if you see anything. I often talk to residents. I had just an incident the other day where a resident just goes, I thought you knew that this was happening on the street. Although I do represent the entire district, I don't drive the entire thing and all the side streets on a daily basis. And the truth is, we don't know everything. And so you guys are our ears and our eyes, and you can tell us like, hey, this is what I saw, this is what's going on. And as soon as we're made aware, we address it. So please just shout us out, let us know. We're always available for meetings to have discussions. And with that, please enjoy your 4th of July. Have a safe 4th of July. And to you parents, we got like a month and a half left before we send them back. Please enjoy your next month and a half of hanging out with your kids, because your peace and sanity is coming back on August 13th. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem. And a lot has been going on, and there's a lot of things coming here during the rest of the summer. Before I mention a few events, on homelessness, one of the items that's going to be coming back in August is the homeless task force that the council has deliberated and discussed, and that's something that I look forward to coming back to the agenda so that we can continue to take the next steps to address homelessness here in the city of Moreno Valley, because we need to do more. Also on the topic of housing, no surprise that I've mentioned many times that I'm an advocate and a proponent of housing for the homeless, including in the city of Moreno Valley. And with the passage of Proposition 1, I know there was various opinions on that, but it did pass. And as a result, there will now be additional funding opportunities for different programs, including services and programs for the homeless. And I am glad to see that project, I think they're calling it Home Key, is coming back again for another opportunity. So there is a NOFA out. There will be a grant application available publicly that the city can pursue. So I hope, even though last year we didn't pursue that opportunity, I hope that this time around, my colleagues on the council and along with city staff can put our heads together and pursue that funding, so that whether it's for housing or other services, that we can continue to find those funding mechanisms to get funding and bring it back home to Moreno Valley to address homelessness. I was able to attend a few events over the past few weeks, some of which have already been mentioned. Vista del Lago High School, there was a groundbreaking ceremony for their new Health Academy building. And that's really, really exciting because, again, we talk about economic development, we talk about being innovative and thinking about the future and preparing for it. Moreno Valley Unified School District is building that new health building on the Vista del Lago High School campus, which is going to open more doors for careers and opportunities in the healthcare and medical industries. Also working in conjunction with our local hospitals like Kaiser and RUHS, which is huge. We need more of those opportunities, and really excited to be able to attend that event. Also attended the Moreno Valley Games Layer over at the Moreno Valley Mall Library branch, and they have 3D printers, VR headsets, gaming consoles, and I was really happy to see a Rise Garden. It's kind of like an artificial garden for learning how to garden on the inside of a building, right? Think of something like vertical farming. So I was really excited to see that also was part of it. It's not just games and computers and VR headsets. It's also learning how to garden without sun. It's all artificial. So really, really exciting stuff. Hats off to our staff for making that happen. Also, hope everybody had a great Father's Day. I was able to attend the Father's Day 3K event with La Surtidora over off of Ironwood and Ironwood and Day Street. And so that was exciting. It was hot. We got to sweat. We got to run a little bit, and really, really nice event there. Also got to attend Juneteenth. That was really nice. It was really hot, but everybody had a great time. So hats off to Parks Department for starting off the summer strong. Also, last Saturday, I was able to ride along with the Carpenters Local 951 for installation of the 10 Little Free Libraries. This was early, 8 a.m. last Saturday, and I got to go along with them in Sunnymead Park, and then we went over to Adrian Mitchell Park, and the rest of the team dispersed to the other sites. There's 10 in total around the city, and I've already seen a lot of social media posts just randomly pop up on my feed. Because people are really excited, and I'm really happy to see that there's books in there. So just to see the excitement from the community. I was at Santiago Park, where one of them is installed just the other day, and everybody that passed by, parents, young kids, anybody that passed by, they stop and take a look at the library because they're really excited about it. So really, really good stuff there. Also was able to attend Canyon Springs High School band concert with Pacific Crest last weekend as well. July 4th is coming. We'll see you there for the parade and festival. Remember the swimming pools and open swim that's available with MVUSD. We worked really hard for that, so please take advantage of that. June 24th, the Moreno Valley College iMake Innovation Center grand reopening that unfortunately flooded last year, but they had insurance, so they were able to get everything renovated with new technology. So that's coming on June 24th. And just last two things, a reminder that we have Mobile Movies, Mobile Rocks that's coming up for the rest of the summer, as well as Moreno Valley Unified School District. They've been doing this for a couple years, is providing free lunches for children from ages 2 to 18 at various parks around the city of Moreno Valley. Please go on the Moreno Valley Unified School District's website to find more information about that. But with that, I'll go ahead and conclude our meeting here. Everybody, please have a safe summer. Have fun, but stay safe, stay cool, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, and we'll see you here in the chamber in August. We'll see you soon.